Hey, what's going on? Adam here. We're going to be working on the church bus today. I must admit, the longer we own this van, the more rad it becomes. We really dig it. We're going to do some upgrades on it today. So far, all we've done really is tint the windows, and we've replaced all the speakers and put in a head unit with an amp. So we got some good tunes we can blast, but we really need to upgrade our steering wheel. So we're going to make this thing a lot better than it is now. Follow along and we'll show you how easy it is. Today we'll be installing an NRG steering wheel with the SRK 161H short hub for a Ford F-150 92 to 97. All right, first thing we're going to do is remove this airbag. We've got a 10mm socket and we're going to pull out 4 nuts. They're very accessible, 2 on each side of the steering wheel, 2 more back here. Okay, with our 4 nuts removed, our airbag comes right out, and it would be very wise to have your battery disconnected before you start doing this, just to make sure you don't accidentally trigger this thing and it blows up in your face, because busted noses suck. So we're just going to take this little clip off here. It will disable this, just like that. Okay, throw this airbag to the side. Actually, a good idea, if you want, you can go ahead and put your 10mm screw, your nuts back on these studs, just in case you decide to reinstall this. Okay, next we're going to remove this black harness here, and it looks like this gray tab here is like some kind of release pin, and it's actually not. It's on the top, so we're going to use a flathead screwdriver. We're going to pry up right here, and this will release it. Now we're going to break this bolt loose here. It's a 15mm, but we're not going to completely remove the bolt. We're just going to break it loose and unthread it enough to where we can have a little bit of wiggle room on our steering wheel. Now, it's also perfectly okay to use something like a PB blaster or some kind of lubricant. Squirt some of that in there. Now, once that's doing its job, you do want to remember to go ahead and put that bolt right back in there. And just like that, our steering wheel is free. Now, we don't want to lose this bolt because we are going to put our steering wheel hub back on with that bolt there. Now, one of the things I did forget to mention is it's always a good idea to use a marker of some kind to mark a line on your spline here and your steering wheel, so that way when you reattach your steering wheel, you're not putting it on crooked. And luckily on this Ford steering wheel, it has a flat spot on the spine, so it won't install crooked. It only goes on correctly this way, but not all vehicles are like that. Okay, with the steering wheel removed, we're going to come right up under here to this plastic cover on our steering column. And there is 1, 2, 3 screws. Okay, so we do have our tilt is kind of keeping us from fully opening it, but all we're trying to do is access this little tab right here so we can pull up. See that right there where my finger is? There's also one on the top right here. Now, what I ended up doing by mistake is I was prying here. I accidentally broke it, and it turns out it's on the side. So if I turn this side, right here is where our clip is for the top. So you're not going to stick a screwdriver here and pry up. You're going to have to somehow come from behind and pull it off of this little spot right here. But that's how you'll get that off. Okay, so we're at a somewhat of a standstill. This is decision time, and this is kind of whatever you personally want to do. We have a situation where this is not going to come out, this wire loom. There is a connector I'm going to show you in a second, but it's split because it also has our hazard lights that are connected. So let me show you. If you follow where this clock spring is, you follow the yellow wire loom. It's got all the airbag wires to it.
So the airbag wires are in this yellow loom here, and obviously they're going to connect to this harness here, and we can disconnect that, but we also have a few wires on this black harness. Now if we disconnect that, we can't pull it through because there are some additional wires here, and they come on this side, way over on this side, and they're going to go on the top of the steering column where those hazard lights are. So we're going to have to cut some wires somewhere, and it doesn't matter where you do it. I'm not going to judge you. I just hope you don't judge me. We're going to think about it for a second, and then we're going to come up with a plan.
Okay, so my option that I decided to go with is I just cut the clock spring harness right there. And the only thing I need, I need two things. I need to bypass the airbag, and we've got some resistors that came with our hub that I'll show you how to do that. We're going to do that on the other harness that we looked at down there. And then this wire here, it's like a cream colored, maybe a white with blue. Watch when I touch this to this ground. That's our horn. So for that, we're going to attach, we're going to have to rig something up. I'm going to show you. We want it to be intermittent and only work when we press the horn button. So we're going to fab up using a little piece of sheet metal I found here. This is like some galvanized metal. You can buy this all day long at Home Depot. I found some sheet metal screws that I've just screwed into these little holes here on this plastic piece. There's no wires behind it, and these aren't pre-drilled, by the way. I'm just fitting them in there. But I'm going to hold this here. I'm going to make some marks where I need my holes. All right, let's test now and see if this works. And it looks like everything is going to mount just fine. Everything lines up with our little holes that we're gonna utilize here. And so now we just need to trim this up. All right, so all we need to do is make sure we've got just enough of this that we can bend upwards, and it can make some contact with our hub. There's really no wrong way to do this, I guess, as long as your horn works. All right, let's bend this like so. And perfect. Now let's install it. All right, now I'm not going to screw it in all the way. I'm going to let that sit there just like that. And now we're going to be installing an NRG wheel hub. We're going to install it just like this with it facing upwards. And you see our little tab is touching this disc. Now we can bend this a little bit so that way we can get our hub all the way on. Now this is definitely going to be one of the most time-consuming parts of the job, because you're going to have to bend it and just kind of readjust and put the hub on, take it off. So I think we've about got it right. And I don't want it touching too far in here. I want it to be on this brass disc the whole time. So I think we finally have pretty good contact right there. Okay, we can't forget about our ground here on our little wire that we touched to make sure it's the horn. And I'm really having to get creative because it's hard to get my crimpers in there, but I think I've got it. Okay, finished product. We got a wire nut there. Should be good for those wires that we cut, and then this. So at this point, we can find our bolt, and we will bolt our hub right back up. Still making contact. It's not too far in. It's not going to rub anything. It's going to stay on that brass the entire time we rotate the wheel. Perfect. Now let's install the steering wheel. We're going to install a spacer. This is a 1/2-inch spacer because our horn will not work. It will hit this bolt there. Okay, so make sure you put your wheel on first. Then we're going to hook up the horn. Okay, we're going to gently tuck all these wires in here like that. We're going to come with our top ring here and put our fasteners in. Okay, we're going to screw these in a crisscross method, just like you're pulling a tire off, putting a tire on. Lastly, you're going to have a bag like this, and it's going to have one of these guys. This is a resistor, and we're going to install that on that yellow harness that we talked about earlier. We disconnected it, and on this end with the black side of the harness, you're just going to put that resistor in
the 2 holes there, just put the 2 little prongs on the resistor in there. We taped it up so that way it won't come loose. And that's it. No wrong way to do it. Just stick your resistor in there and tuck it up. And you shouldn't have any airbag issues now.
I definitely dig it. Pretty dope, man. I will say there's one catch to using this spacer, and I'm not sure why this is a problem, and it hasn't been fixed, but I've looked up several forums, and as you can see, it is offset. So the NRG logos are facing straight up, and if I turn the wheel here, this is gonna be driving straight. So my wheel is at like maybe a 15 or 20 degree angle. It's not gonna be straight. And that is just something that is with the bolt pattern that's on this. If we were to bolt straight to the hub, we wouldn't have any problems. Because of the spacer and the way that the screws are gonna mount up, I have not yet found a solution to this problem. So if anybody has an answer, put it in the comments below. And we're done here. This is a great install video. This thing looks terrific, especially in the sunlight. It's got that dark wood finish. And we're ready to ride, Clyde. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.